Power Breakfast is brought to you by Via Rail Canada. See what a pleasure business travel can be. Via Rail, a more human way to travel.
ATM machines are a common sight in gas stations and convenience stores, but my next guest says they've reached a saturation point in the U.S., and the new wave of one-stop banking offers a full range of financial services, not just cash withdrawals. Here to tell us how his company is cashing in on that is Hamid Shabazi. He's the CEO of TO Networks, and he joins us from Vancouver. Good morning.
Good morning.
What is the difference between your banking machines and an ATM?
The main difference is that our financial services ATMs actually accept cash for various different services, primarily bill payment, so the ability to connect to a biller's server and update an account in real time, and other types of prepaid products and services, mainly for the underbanked community.
So your main clients include companies like ExxonMobil, Circle K, Speedway. Why are they finding a need to put your product in their stores?
Well, the convenience petroleum industry is really looking for ways to continue to bring people into the convenience store. Convenience retail is a huge business, $280 billion a year, 140,000 convenience stores in the United States, and they're experiencing a lot of competition from dollar stores, from grocery vertical, and they're really trying to react. They're trying to create a destination point. Why would one go into a convenience store? Today, that is really dominated by, the coffee, cigarette, Cokes and smokes category, but they're trying to kind of take it to the next level and offer up services.
So are you trying to compete against the banks then and their ATM machines?
We really call it a non-bank financial services network. These are people that, for whatever reason, have chosen to be unbanked. And because of the changing demographics in the United States, that's actually a growing industry. They have to pay their utility bills and conduct financial services just like everybody else, but they also need tools. And we're giving them those real-time tools with 24/7 availability at convenience stores through these machines.
Now, you say that there is quite a difference in the banking industry in the U.S. and Canada when it comes to the way that people do their banking. How is that?
Well, it's obviously a lot more fragmented business, but depending on what kind of bank that you're with, you could have one of the main problems is the lack of liquidity. So there's a lot of holds on bank accounts. So if you're if you're kind of a fiscally challenged person and you're getting a paycheck and your family has to eat that night, chances are you're not going to deposit that check into your bank account. You're going to go to a check casher and pay the 2-3% to get liquidity for your cash and then pay your bills and buy food. There's the needs of the unbanked and underbanked demographic is really not being met by the main financial institutions. So they're of course going into check cashing locations and payday loan shops, and convenience retail wants a piece of that business. That's why you see companies like ExxonMobil really come out aggressively and say they want that customer, because they're finding that they're already serving that customer and they want to keep them in and essentially upsell them with more services.
Well, the internet is becoming so much more a popular place for people to do their banking, paying their bills online and doing those kinds of things. Has that not been an impact for your business?
The internet has helped us just from the standpoint of being able to connect to all these different servers of these various different service providers like Singular, Quest, Cox Communications. From a consumer viewpoint, if you're banked, you can absolutely take advantage of things like electronic bill payment. But we have 300,000 people a month that are visiting our locations and essentially putting cash into our machines.
Are there that many people that are unbanked in the U.S.?
Absolutely. The Federal Reserve estimates 15 to 20% of the population does not have a bank account. What we found in our studies and the research that we've conducted is that's probably a little higher, and there's an incremental 15 to 20% that actually do have a bank account but don't use it. So the underbanked community is quite large. It's about 1.5 billion walk-in bill payments a year in the United States today.
You mentioned ExxonMobil. It is just undergoing a big expansion in this area. What kind of impact will you notice to your bottom line then because of that? How are you going to cash in on that?
Well, ExxonMobil has publicly announced that they're going to make TIO available in all of their corporate-owned locations, of which there's about 900, and their franchise locations, which is another 400. And we think that's going to help us quite a bit. It's factored into the various different analysts that are covering our story and the target stock price that they've put forth, and we think earnings are definitely going to be bolstered by this.
Now, you just recently entered into a partnership with Tranax Technologies to launch a joint hybrid ATM machine. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's per your beginning note, what you were saying, that there's saturation in the United States with the ATMs. We certainly see and feel that. There's just under 400,000 ATMs in the United States. And ATM operators are finding it harder and harder to make the same money that they used to. So manufacturers like Tranax, who was really tied for first place last year in the off-premise banking market for ATMs, has introduced a cash-accepting ATM that's partially with partial design contributions from TIO Networks for the purposes of adding new revenue streams to the ATM operator's business model. So now, instead of just dispensing cash, you can actually add revenue streams pertaining to cash acceptance. So bill payment revenues, prepaid and products and services, long distance, all types of different business streams, revenue streams are really cultivated by cash acceptance.
Now, just last week or a little over a week ago, you changed your company name. Why is that?
Well, we found that the old company name InfoTouch Technologies was very synonymous with what we our legacy business, which was essentially delivering these services through kiosks. What we're finding now, of course, is that as a high-value processor that has this connectivity to, a myriad of large service providers, like, again, Singular, Cox, Cricket Communications, we can unlock the value of that processing capability in various different ways. So, we can distribute through hybrid ATMs, like that Tranax announcement. We're providing a clerk-assisted model. We're finding that there's various ways of unlocking the value of our business, and TIO is our way of saying, hey, we're more of a processor. We're more of that Swiss Army knife of functionality with various expressions of distribution to get the product and services and processing out.
Well, I appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Our guest is Hamid Shahbazi, the chairman and CEO of TIO Networks, and that is today's Power Breakfast.
Via Rail